Alright, how you going? It's Micah the Geek, and I'm here yet to do another review, retrospective, and rant on Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart 64 to this day is now 27 bloody years old.
That's almost 84 years.
So get your walking sticks out and reminisce on what was. And there has always been a debate and speculation whether it's the best Mario Kart to be released. One half will be saying,
it's the best because it's the first to integrate 3D graphics, having a massive graphical leap from its predecessor.
fuck, I hate that word.
It also has iconic maps and multiplayer.
Well, just like every other Mario Kart. And the other half will say, nah, it's just an upgrade from Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. Nothing new.
You contribute nothing to society!
You also have debates if it has aged like fine wine or not. And I'm here to say, it's 50-50 for me. I'm stuck in the middle of a dried turkey sandwich.
The turkey's a little dry. Oh, foul accursed thing! What demon from the depths of hell created thee?
Now I'm attached to this game and I still enjoy playing it when the perfect moment arrives. Whether with friends, family, or if especially when a particular someone comes into the room wearing sexy lingerie, slowly strutting her way towards me as she bends over in front of me and whispers in my ear, let's play Mario Kart 64. And this is when I can play for hours on end with another and be the best at my abilities. They say when you have dementia, you'll remember your best memories to the very end. Now this game has plenty of memories etched in my head. So when I'm about 80 years old, fat, stinky, and farting my ass off, drooling like a waterfall with dementia, I can still kick everyone's ass in Mario Kart.
I got
Oh, man.
Mario Kart 64 is still playable on multiple consoles. Well, kind of, depending if you have the right tools and resources to play it, that is. Mario Kart 64 is playable on the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo Wii U, and the Nintendo Switch. Now in terms of the best looking out of them all, I'll have to go with the Wii U version. It looks perfectly fine on all other consoles, but in my perspective, it looks the best on Wii U. But still, it still looks good on any console you play on, especially the Nintendo 64. But saying that, it's still just as good playing on other systems. I'm not nitpicking every little minute detail when it comes to the graphics, the fidelity and the frames per second and all that shit. As long as it still plays, as long as it still looks like what it did back then, I don't give a flying. So get your nostalgic needle back out, inject it in your ass, sit back, relax, grab a cold drink, eat some bananas, and give those game cartridges the best blowjobs they'll ever receive in the 26 years of existence. This is the review, retrospective, and rant on Mario Kart 64. So a little backstory on Mario Kart 64. It's 1995, Mario Kart was in development, and it was actually on the verge of being called Mario Kart R. And what does the R stand for, I hear you say? Well, it was meant to be R-rated, believe it or not. So it was meant to be a lot of nudity, drugs, violence, and coarse language. You can picture Mario swearing, going, "Yoo-hoo, go f*** yourself, you motherfucker," while he's throwing bloody knives at Luigi. And you also have Toad screaming profanity while he's butt naked. And then you also have Peach throwing dirty tampons at you when you're driving around. But nah, just joking, as if Nintendo would do that. And looking at the test shots, it didn't look too bad. Except for this, the character selection screen. Just have a bloody look at that. It looks creepy, demonic. Soulless little characters appearing, staring at you, not even blinking. Over the next few months of production, they end up scrapping a few things from the game due to hardware limitations. So now we have this, Mario Kart 64. Now, in my perspective, I'm glad they went down this path, as it does look a little bit more appealing, especially in the character selection screen. They also scrapped the character Kamek and replaced him for Donkey Kong. Again, a good choice, as Kamek not really a well-known character in my opinion. And they also use the same model of Donkey Kong from Rareware. Now another thing that looks different compared to the R-rated version is that the character and items are now 2D rather than 3D, due to the Nintendo 64's hardware limitations. Now for someone like me, who was 7 or 8 at the time playing the game, I didn't care, or didn't even notice at the time, as they looked 3D to me, because they were using 2D sprites but morphing them into a 3D type of thing. It's hard to explain, but no matter how you look at it, it's 2D, but appearing on the game, it's 3D. You have returning characters such as Mario, of course, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, and Bowser. And new characters being Donkey Kong and Wario, rather than Koopa Troopa and Donkey Kong Jr. Each character have their own perks of acceleration and top speed, nothing too crazy, as it is not really present in the game menu or in the actual game itself. You can't tell who's quick and who's slow. The only way you can get a clear description of this is in the actual game manual, a physical manual. Or if you're playing on Nintendo Switch Online, there's a little menu in the pause menu. But for all the stat freaks out there that just go absolute stonkers over stats, you have the medium class with Mario and Luigi being perfectly balanced. So normal top speed, normal acceleration. Lightweights being Toad, Yoshi, and Peach, so quick at acceleration, but slow when cornering. And heavyweight being Bowser, Wario, and Donkey Kong. Slow acceleration, but apparently good at cornering without losing top speed. I call bullshit, they suck when it comes to turning. Or maybe it's just me. Now moving on to items, returning from Super Mario Kart being bananas, shells, red and green, mushrooms, stars, lightning bolt,
Lightning ball! Lightning ball! Sleep! Lightning ball! Lightning ball! Sleep!
and boo. New items added to Mario Kart 64 are the Super Mushroom, where you have infinite amount of mushrooms for a good 10 seconds I assume. The upside down question mark, or the upside down item box, and the infamous blue shell, the one item to end all friendships and marriages. And fun fact, did you know 50% of all divorces are caused from blue shells?
What the fuck did I do wrong? Tell me!
There are also 16 new tracks, 4 less than Super Mario Kart, which is an absolute travesty. I'm absolutely disappointed. How dare they only have 16 tracks? Unfucking believable. For goodness sake, get your finger out. Pull your finger out, Nintendo, for goodness sake. How can you only have 16 tracks? Just absolute bullshit. Tracks in Mario Kart 64 are Luigi Raceway, the perfect racetrack for beginners, from long straights to long corners, so you can get used to the controls. Moo Moo Farm, one of the shortest tracks in the game. It looks like an oval circuit, but there are lots of twists and turns, and watch out for Chubby the Mole. Koopa Troopa Beach, a relaxing drive on the beach with skitz jumps and a couple of shortcuts. One's going through the water halfway through the track, and the other is the little infamous jump where you can cut about 15 seconds of the circuit if you get the jump correctly. There is also the infamous big jump near the end of the track, where if you do it correctly, you'll be rewarded with a blue shell. Calamari Desert, where you'll be driving around the desert trying to beat the train before you cross the train line. Toad's Turnpike, you'll be constantly dodging the traffic with multiple lanes, which then merge into only 2 lanes nearing the end without warning, kinda like Australia's shit highways. Frappy Snowland, a peaceful drive in the snowfields, dodging the snowmen. Choco Mountain, a tough little dirt circuit consisting on sharp, continuous corners while dodging the boulders, and don't drive off the edge or you'll be doing the 3rd quarter of the circuit again. Mario Circuit, a short snappy circuit with sharp turns and hairpins, one of my personal favourites. Wario Stadium, the 2nd longest circuit of the game, driving on pretty much a motocross stylized circuit with lots of jumps, bumps, and the jump to end all relationships depending on how you take it. Sherbetland, an icy circuit where you'll be dodging the penguins as well as not trying to fall in the icy water on the inside edge of the circuit. Royal Raceway, pretty much everyone's favourite circuit, including myself, mainly because of the big jump halfway through the circuit. This track also has multiple tight and long corners. Now, does everyone even do the last couple of corners? Because they're bloody impossible to do. Because I sure as hell don't. Bowser's Castle. One of the hardest circuits in the game, with sharp 90-degree turns, as well as dodging the thwomps and not falling in the lava, of course. DK Jungle Parkway, another favourite of mine, driving along the river, taking in the views with a 270-degree turn which spits you into a jump across the river. And try not to drive in the grass, otherwise you'll piss off the locals. Yoshi Valley, a circuit you'll either love or hate, mainly because you don't know where the fuck to go, and you don't know who's leading the bloody race, as well as multiple places to fall off the track. And watch out for the big ass shell. Banshee Boardwalk, boom! A scary circuit consisting of ghosts and bats flying around you, with a few tough corners to master. And then the infamous Rainbow Road, the longest circuit in the game, taking around 2 minutes and a half to complete a circuit. Quite the safe circuit though, as there is no way of falling off the track unless you completely cock up the first section of the track. But, saying that, you can also cut the good chunk of the circuit if you perfectly time the jump in the first section, taking a good minute off the track. In terms of controls, it's not overly difficult. It's bloody Mario Kart. It's a game aimed for a young or casual player. Unlike me, I'm like one of those COD players where they just scream in your face when they beat you.
Get lost! Get lost! Oh my god! It's time running out! Let's go!
You have the joystick to steer, of course, one button to accelerate, one button to brake, and I can guarantee you won't brake, another button to shoot your items, and one more button to drift the kart. The only thing I guess that'll need a little practice is the drifting mechanic. There seems to be a lot of complaints about it, but I don't understand why. But saying that, the game has given me muscle memory so I can drift no matter where I go. To drift, push the jump button as you turn to engage the drift, steer away from the corner, and then steer back into the corner, and then do this multiple times and you'll get a little boost out of it. Simple as that. As you do this, you'll see little clouds pop off from a V to an E to an orange E. I think it's orange. I'm colorblind as hell. Once you know you've got the little boost, you'll hear the character moan. And you can do these boosts in under a second when you're driving. So let's open up the game and see what's in store for us. Pretty much everything is accessible as soon as you open up the game. All cups are accessible, from mushroom, star, flower, and special. The only thing that's missing is the extra mode. Extra mode being where everything is mirrored. So that's one major downfall of the game. There's no sense of progression or achievement since everything is presented to you on a gold platter. But saying that, Mario Kart 64 I do believe was ideally made for a multiplayer perspective rather than single player. Reason being, if you played Mario Kart 64 by yourself, it's not really entertaining. Well, maybe if you're playing it for the very first time, you do all the cups and circuits and that's pretty much it. Nothing else changes. Once you've done all that, you can't do much else after that. Unless you do time trials, where you're just doing your best times against yourself. And this only works if you have a controller pack, which only worked on the Nintendo 64. Again, why I think it's more multiplayer based is that the CPU can't really do much to you in the game. They can't shoot shells at you, or do anything to slow you down really. All they can do is use bananas, upside down blocks, and lightning bolts. So all they really do is just stay close to you with all the rubber banding, whatchamacallit. I believe the game is at its best with 2 to 4 players. With 2 players, I think it's at its prime. You can do everything pretty much in 2-player mode, except for time trial of course, but who gives a banana peel about that. With 2-player, you can do Grand Prix mode, versus, and battle mode. With Grand Prix mode, you and a buddy can compete against each other, as well as 6 other bots in the game, which makes it extremely enjoyable, as you now have someone to race against and compete against. Properly, I guess. Now I remember clear as day, me and my brother raging and fighting each other on certain courses where we'll be swearing at each other, calling each other dogs. Mainly being on Wario Stadium, one of us will be waiting for the time to strike when you do the cross jump section, where you can shoot a shell or a lightning bolt, and if you do it at the right precise moment, they'll have to redo a majority of the course again. But in saying that, if that happened to me, I'll just cheat and then cut half the circuit at the very beginning of the stage, Mario Kart 64 is one of the first games to ever introduce 4-player multiplayer split screen, and with this, you and 3 others can race or battle against each other. The only major downside to this is that the music has been removed due to hardware limitations, of course, so this is when you have to beatbox your way through the music as you're battling against your buddies. And speaking of music, Mario Kart 64 has some iconic tunes and an awesome soundtrack, like all Mario Kart games, of course. I don't know how he does it, Kenta Nagata, that is, how he captures the mood and tone for each section of the game, and each course, and each environment, and either way, he's bloody good at capturing the sound and the tunes of the environments. This is also his debut soundtrack with Nintendo, and from there he leaves his footprint on other Nintendo gems too. Now in today's time, what would I rate this game? I'd have to give it 6 banana peels. It's still playable and enjoyable, yes, but it doesn't hold up to the other Mario Karts that are out to this day. It has aged just like the other game, of course, but it's still appealing. It's not an eyesore, and you still have an idea of what's happening and who's who. In terms of gameplay, it doesn't have much as soon as you complete the 4 cups, so there's no sense of achievement unless you really want to go for the extra mode. If you want that, you have to complete every mode from 50, 100 and 150cc. It's really a game that's meant to be played casually and with your friends and family. And that is the review, retrospective and rant on Mario Kart 64. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for future content. And yeah, that's basically it. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate it very much. And yeah, I guess I'll see you on the next review, retrospective and rant. Other than that, have a lovely day or night, wherever you are. I hope you have a skitz day, and I might see you one day. Ciao. How the fuck did this get at you?